Hey, what's good, everybody? Happy Friday. Hey, we got a 3-day weekend coming up. So just so you know, the stock market's closed on Monday for President's Day, Washington's birthday. We'll basically close for any reason. Bank holiday, the stock markets pretty much take the day off. But here's an interesting fact. Did you know that the stock market actually is not allowed to be closed for more than a 3-day period? There is never a Friday where the stock market's closed and then a Monday where the stock market's closed. The actual only time that the stock market has been closed for more than a 3-day window, including a weekend, was 9/11, right? During that whole thing there. So it's an actual rule. They cannot close the market for more than 3 days. So we'll be closed for 3 days. We'll see you back here on Tuesday. But a little housekeeping before we get started. We just added a system to automatically get the nest egg portal out to our clients. So if you are a client, this typically is our video where we update clients on the markets and their investments. Just know that we're getting caught up on that. If you are a client and you do not have nest egg yet and you want it, send us an email, support@jazzwealth.com. And one of us will make sure to get that set up for you. But from here on, it should be smooth sailing. What else? Reminder, typically once a month, I will remind all you guys to make sure that your beneficiaries on your IRAs are who you want them to be and make sure the information is correct. If something bad should happen to you, remember, we'll just go right on to the beneficiary. You'll know that everything's taken care of. But if you don't put any information in there or you don't update that information, it may not be going to the person you want. So just a friendly reminder to do that. That's enough of the housekeeping. Let's go on over to the stock market here today. Hey, mostly quiet stock market today. I want to use a little analogy of running up a hill, right? The S&P was higher today, so that marks 6 straight days higher. But imagine if you're running up a hill, how long can you run up that hill before you need to take a break? Apparently 6 days. Today, if you look at the move here, a lot more back and forth. We've seen pretty much a straight push higher for the last 5 days, but today it struggled, right? Because people were saying, why should we continue to run up the hill? We've already run so far up the hill, maybe we need a break. And in my opinion, that is true. We do need a break. We will likely see some wiggling around here going into next week. But another interesting market statistic is that when a holiday falls on a Monday, the following Tuesday, going back to the Great Depression, has been a positive trading day 88% of the time. Did you know that? I don't know why I know these things, but so statistically, we should expect Tuesday to be a positive day. The start, not the finish, the start. So we'll see what happens. Going into it 6 days up, that would be an interesting stat to keep track of. Could be one of those 12% times where Tuesday is a down day. Anyways, let's go through this here. The Dow higher by 16, S&P higher by 1, just one little point. The Nasdaq actually lost 16 on the day. That was the one that started the whole pullback here. That was kind of pulling on the markets today, tech stocks a little bit. Remember the FANG names, your Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, they had great runs, right? The week was great for them. They took Friday off. It's been a little bit quiet there. So not a big deal, not a big drop. I don't think anybody's too worried about how that's going there. So not too bad. If we take a look around oil actually continued higher on the day, helping our commodity holdings. If you have commodity ETFs in your portfolio, a lot of you do, then that was good. That was a good start to everything there. Gold took the day off, so a little bit of a mix, but remember, gold shot higher, right back up into these highs, also probably willing to take a break there, and that's it. And remember, wherever the bank stocks go, so goes the market. The banking stocks were essentially flat on the day, which shows why the S&P was only up 1, couldn't really get anything accomplished. That's not a big deal. Let's take a look at some individual stocks that you may be seeing in the headlines today. Caterpillar, that was your drag on the Dow. So any Dow holdings or index-related holdings were held back today because of the Caterpillar down 2.3%. The IRS added $300 million to their tax bill because Caterpillar got sort of crafty lately. They said how they're going to handle their taxes. They thought they could do a lot of offshore stuff. The IRS said, no, 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 you got to pay your taxes. So their new tax bill is now $2.3 billion. Well, Caterpillar came out and they actually said, their actual words were, the $300 million will have no major impact on us. And they still maintain that their tax strategy is legitimate. but of course the IRS rules all, and stock was lower today as the company's going to have to pay an additional $300 million. Let's go over to Google, which is actually Alphabet. These are all of the sort of other companies that Google owns. They call it Alphabet, and it's a separate ticker symbol. Interesting that you're watching this on YouTube, and YouTube, according to an analyst, it's predicted that YouTube will bring in more ad revenue than Netflix. So YouTube's expected to bring in $15 billion in ad sales this year. Netflix only around $12 billion. We actually don't know for sure. The analyst is just making a guess, but YouTube has announced, or Alphabet has announced, that they will start reporting the revenue that they make on their ads from their YouTube. So that'll be cool, kind of something interesting to see. Let's keep going here. We got Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola ran up today about 0.5%. It did start the day higher. See that red line there? That is the 200-day moving average. It is a very popular line that people have on their charts, and that's exactly where it stopped. Very popular study to put on your charts. Coca-Cola done there. But basically, Coca-Cola came out with earnings, and it was much better than Wall Street expected, which normally it's pretty slow and steady. So the fact that they beat was pretty interesting there. Stock was higher by about 0.5%. Move on to Jack in the Box. Some of you guys don't even know what Jack in the Box is. Us here in Florida, not that familiar with Jack in the Box. But the stock was up an even 7%. There's an activist investor company, Jana Partners is actually what they're called. They took an increased stake in the company. They now own 7.3% of the company. Why does that matter? Well, Jack in the Box just recently sold Qdoba. That was their other restaurant that they owned. They sold it at what could, possibly seen as a pretty record price for a pretty crappy restaurant. But it seems that now Jana's coming into Jack in the Box. They're investing more heavily. They're about to do some work here. Anytime an activist investment group starts buying more of your company, they're about to ask you to change the way you run your company. So could be some more interesting news there from Jack in the Box. That's all I got. That's all I have for you. Otherwise, in the markets, McDonald's was down a little bit again today. They're not getting rid of the cheeseburger. They think they're getting rid of it, but they are not. Everything else was pretty quiet, right? So the moral of the story is this week, your retirement investments recovered a lot of what they had pulled back from over the past couple weeks. But now this next week's going to be interesting. I think the markets will kind of be a little bit of a tug of war. We will see. We will keep you updated. If you are not a client, watch these two videos up here. Something interesting you may come across. If we can help you in any way with your IRAs, we manage IRAs, Roth IRAs, but we also help you with your personal finances however you need it. We want to be the place that when you have a question financially, you've got a place to ask and you don't have to worry about being sold. So have a great weekend, guys. We'll see you Tuesday.